Well, guys, thank you so much for being here. I know you just had lunch, so I expect all of you to be sleeping by the end of this. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I'm going to start with a quick intro, and then we're going to jump right in. So my name is Vincent Ménier. I'm a character artist. I come from France. This is some of the work I've done the last few years. So there's a bunch of different stuff: collectibles, mobile games, personal art, tools. And the last game I worked on is the one where you jump from a blue bus and when you shoot people to transform into 3 stories building. It's called Fortnite. And 15 years ago, I started playing a really cool game. It's called EVE. It's made by this Icelandic company called CCP. It's a big MMORPG game, science fiction. You play as a spaceship and you get to do pretty much anything you want. CCP is also known for a bunch of VR titles that they've done, such as eValkyrie and Spark, which was one of the first VR sports. And I now work at CCP in London, and we're making a new game that's unannounced. It's something I'm really excited about, and we're actually looking for people. So if you're interested, just go and check out our website and see if there's something that's interesting for you. So now that we've done introductions, let's jump right in. We're going to start by a little bit of a reality check. This is the part of the presentation that hurts, but we're going to power through it together, and don't worry, it's going to be all right. So, the reality is that it's really unlikely you'll find a job right outside of university. And the reason for that is because you are not prepared. And there's a bunch of reasons actually why you're not prepared. And the first one is maybe your work is just not there yet. And this is one of my first goals when I was out of school. At the time I was super proud of it. And strangely enough, companies did return my applications. And there's one really good way to check if your work is on the level. It's super obvious, but you never think of it, is can you put it into a game where you want to work on it? So obviously Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, and this is quite far away, right? So I was just not going to get in with my waxy, bold red guy as a high-quality zebra skull. So just look at the minimum bar, which is the games you're looking at today, because those are made under really tight production constraints, whereas when you're working on a portfolio at home, you have 0 constraints. It's just time, right? You can spend as much time as you want on it. The second thing is there is a sea of applicants out there. And the problem with that is that numbers are not in your favor because good is not enough. It's like there's a lot of good artists, and you're going to need to find your way to rise above the noise and show that you're not just good, but you're someone that the company wants to hire. So that's kind of depressing, to be honest. And 6-7 years ago, I was facing that wall, and I just wanted to do one thing, and that's giving up. But I didn't, and I'm kind of glad I didn't because it's a really amazing career to pursue. Personally, I love games. I'm sure you guys do too. And I'm going to show you a couple of tricks that I've learned along the way, a couple of advices that some of my peers, people senior to me, have given me, and that allow me to make it, and should allow you to make it as well. Whoa, you're going really fast. Why? Okay, so the first thing is you'll need to have the right mindset. And I like to start with this quote from Friedrich Nietzsche: "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." What that means is that yes, the road ahead of you to get that first job and have a great career in the industry, it's really tough. But if you have a really strong reason for you that's personal, you'll actually make it, because no matter what difficulties ahead of you, you just won't care because you'll have a strong reason. And very often when you ask artists, why do you want to make games? Well, the first reason is kind of always the same. It's like, I like to make pretty images. The truth is, there's often something deeper inside you. That's the reason why you want to make games. For some people, they just want to be loved. For some people, they need art to express themselves. It's just the way they communicate. And for other people, well, they want to impact their players, and the players will then in turn change the world. So they want to have an impact. There's many different reasons out there that we'll find, and I think it's really great if you take the time to look into yourself and find why you really want to do this. Because that core reason is going to carry you through. So now that you have a why, you need a what. And one of the things you do in school is usually you learn a little bit of everything. So you make a character, some environments, and you also make a concept yourself. and you rig it, animate it, you do the whole thing, which is great because it kind of familiarizes yourself so you can see the whole pipeline. But the issue is you tend to be mediocre at everything. And if a company is going to hire you, they're going to hire you because you're good at one thing. And this is where you need to start, is pick something that really calls to you. Sometimes you don't really know what calls to you and you just pick what you're good at, what you're better at. And sometimes you really know what you want to do and you just pick that. So pick one thing and stick to it. Then the next thing is, where in the industry do you want to work in? Because the industry is really big, and just saying I want to make games is not enough. It's like, do you want to work on realistic games? Do you want to work on stylized games? Do you want to work in AAA, in indie, in mobile games? It seems like a lot at first, but again, the more you define that answer, which is personal to you, the more you know what to focus your efforts on, and you actually increase your chances of succeeding at hitting that target. And spoiler alert, none of those things are easier than the other, right? It's not easier to make Tracer than it is to make Joel. It's just a different skill set. So pick what it is that really resonates with you and just focus your efforts there. Then now you have a why, you have a what, and it's time to ask yourself, how do I do it? Where do I start, right? Even before thinking of a portfolio. Well, there's a couple of things you got to work on first and foremost. It's your fundamentals. When you're done with that, go back to it, and again, and again, and again. This is the number one reason why recruiters reject CVs, actually portfolios. If you look at the work and the fundamentals are not there. For characters, for example, it's anatomy, right? If you're trying to build a house and you start with the roof, it's just going to collapse, right? You need really strong foundation walls, and then you can put a nice roof on top of it, and it's going to hold, and it's going to look great. Well, it's the same thing with art. Learn your anatomy, composition, scale, color, design sense. Those things are not necessarily the first thing you think of when you're thinking about making an amazing portfolio piece, but they're the building blocks, and you really want to focus on that first. So then comes the question of software. So this is going to be a bit character specific, but you can really apply it to any discipline. Very often, like students or younger artists, they think that they need to learn all the software out there. It's like every beta, every new plugin, it's all necessary to make great art. Right? First question I always get is like, what brush do you use? It's like, seriously guys, it just doesn't matter. Most artists use a very limited amount of tools. And for example, I use a 3D package, like a generalist one, like Maya or Max or Mondo, whichever. As long as you can do basic poly modeling, your Retopo and your UVs in there, it's fine. You need a high poly package, and it's going to be ZBrush for most people. That's what's most represented in the industry. Substance Painter for texturing, Photoshop all-around 2D tool, and Marmoset Toolbag, which is what I use for presentation and baking and whatnot. You can use Unreal or Unity if you just need to put something in an engine. But you see, it's just 5 software, and to be honest, I don't know much more than that. And you don't need to know much more than that, right? So your effort should not be 100% on software. It should be way more on the fundamentals and the art itself than the buttons to press. Because actually, once you're in a company, it's really easy to teach you buttons. And we'll have to do that because every company has their own proprietary software. So focus on the art, just be good enough with the tech, do something that's technologically competent, but you don't need to learn every button. It's no use. Now this is the toughest part of the why. It's motivation versus discipline. When I talk with my fellow artists, sometimes even senior level, one thing that really often comes back is, I'm not motivated today, I don't want to do art. And the next day, it's still not coming, I don't want to do art. And this is why motivation is the tool of amateurs and hobbyists. You cannot count on it. You cannot get a hold of it. It's crap. What you want to have is discipline. A professional sits down at his desk and does the job every day, whether he feels like it or not. And this is why discipline is just the best tool, because this is something you can train and you can harness and you can count on it. And year after year, the more discipline you get, the more art you produce, the faster you grow, and you just don't ask yourself the question anymore. Hey, it's 9 a.m. I just get to work. Whether I feel motivated or not, I just do. And here are a couple of little organizational tricks that should help you get started on your journey to discipline. So first of all, when you set out to do some work, set some quantifiable goals, something you can wrap your head around. This week I will do a full body anatomy study. I have a unit of time. This week I have a precise amount of work I need to do. Full body anatomy study. If I said, in the next few days I'm going to work my anatomy, this doesn't mean anything. What's next few days? I'm going to work my anatomy. When do I deliver something? I don't know. So you really want to set some goals that you can quantify. You know when you've reached your goal. It's not about quality, it's like, I did it in the time I had. Then again, start small and then ramp it up. It's very exciting, you know, you're just like, yeah, I'm going to do this full body character, and then I'm going to put it in an environment, then I'm going to rig it up. Start by doing a bust, for example. That's what I tell my students all the time. Don't make a full character, take the whole process and scale it down. So if you just do a couple of busts so that you wrap your head around the process, for example, then you get comfortable with it, you get good at it, and then you can pass your exam, which is kind of make a full character. Everything you've got, put it in one big thing. But first start small, and when you get good at small, ramp it up. Also set up a reward system. If I work 4 productive hours today, I'm allowed to feel good. See again, I have a unit of time today, Monday, and I have a goal, 4 productive hours. Seriously, when you work, you know if you've been productive or not, right? And I'm allowed to feel good. This is super important because setting goals, it's a thing, but is it really fun? Do you feel good after it? Well, you have to. You have to allow yourself to be rewarded when you reach something. Because from now until you get your first job, it might be 2 weeks, it might be 2 years. And you want to have some wins before that happens, right? You want to have some goalposts. And this is why you need to allow yourself to feel good and to reward yourself. And that doesn't mean you need to buy yourself stuff, but you can say, hey, if I work well today, I'm going to have a walk in the park. I'm going to have a really nice coffee at that coffee place I really like. And what this does is it actually trains your brain to feel good about being disciplined and accomplishing objectives. So you're actually hooking yourself to it. It's like a drug, except this one is actually pretty cool, and you don't end up in jail or something. You just end up having a job and being happy about what you do. Finally, humans are creatures of habit. We are really good at following routines. So a good thing to do, for example, and that's just one example, but you could find many things in that subject. Stop working every day at the same time. If you say 9 a.m. I'm starting to work today, in the beginning of the day, 9 a.m. At some point your brain is going to be trained for that. At 9 a.m. every day your brain will know it's go time. You won't have to push yourself to work at 9 a.m. It will become just muscle memory. You just do it. So find your way to have some rituals and things that you do every day to just make it easy for you in the end. For me, I put a specific playlist on my Spotify. I have a specific type of tea that I really like, and it's just a string of cues and systems that just make me want to work, and then I just get to it. I don't think about it. It's not hard, I just do it. And this is a bit of a tough quote. Every hour spent not working on your craft, somebody's getting better than you. But that's the reality. There's a couple of jobs out there, and there's a lot of you who want them, and that's fine. And I don't mean to say that you should be working 12-hour days, because that's stupid. You're just going to send yourself into the hospital. But every day you're going to have some choices, and that choice is very often going to be, right now I can work, or I can go to the bar with my friends, or I could hit that next level into Division 2, or whatever. And each time you have that choice in front of you, well, you have to make a decision. And keep that in mind, because it's going to help you out. And finally, this is a little quote that my boxing teacher tells me. Success has a pattern, and it's called repetition. Again, it's all about discipline. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. It becomes automatic, and you're just a working machine. It's fine. Last two things in the mindset. As you've understood by now, this stuff is pretty hard. And the artistic journey is not one to be, you don't want to go on that journey alone, because like I said, it's really difficult. And the cool thing is you have a lot of really nice online communities where artists of all levels share. They share their knowledge, they share their tools, they share their tips, they give feedback to each other. And sometimes they just talk to each other when they don't feel great about something, because that's a support system right there for you. So there's a lot of different communities for different kind of special interest group. I definitely encourage you to look them up and see which one fits for you. But don't stay alone in that quest, just go and get help. You have the same thing offline, in the real world, like where we are now. You have events like THU, ISCC, etc., etc. Well, you can meet artists that you usually don't have access to, like speakers or whatever. You can also meet companies and show them your work, get some feedback. Whereas maybe if you had applied on their website, they would have never answered you. Here you get to actually meet them. So that's really great. You also get to meet artists who are going through the same struggle as you. You can make friends, and also quite often you meet your future colleagues. So it's really worth it. And I know, like, when you see those names, it's like, THU is going to cost me so much to go there. You know, it's a budget. But you do have some events which are here in London. Here's one. Industry workshops happening in Shoreditch every year. You don't have to go really far. There are also a bunch of groups of game devs that unite in bars and whatever, and just go there, meet people, have a support system. So here we go. Now you know what you want to do, you know why you want to do it, and just like Jon Snow, you know how to do it. So now let's talk about your portfolio. Your portfolio is your #1 tool to get a job. Sounds super obvious, right? But the truth is, a lead artist or a recruiter, he or she's going to look at your portfolio, and then you're going to look at your portfolio, and maybe he's going to look at your CV, and maybe he's going to read your cover letter. But your portfolio is the gateway to everything, so this is where you want to focus most of your efforts. Alright, you are not a web designer. Please, do not spend your time making a website. This is not your job. Every minute you're spending making a website, you're not actually making art. You're not working on your portfolio. You're not working at getting better to get your job. Right? So please, carve it in your brain. Your job is not to make websites. That's why we have tools like ArtStation. They don't pay me to say this, by the way. It's just way easier for us if you all have an ArtStation. I use ArtStation, right? Why is it great? Because it's really clean, like it reads really well. It's simple. You don't have to press too many buttons to access the art. It's really easy. And also it's standard, meaning first place we go when we're looking for an artist for a position where we want to hire someone. We go to ArtStation because we know everybody's there. It's easy to navigate, it's fast, simple. To make one, it's free. Then show me something I can put in a game. I see so many portfolios from people who apply to game jobs where there's no game art. Like, come on guys, like, what's up? Show me some game resolution assets, locally with base in-engine presentation. As an example, some work from my friend Satoshi, and he does amazing breakdowns. And why you want to do breakdowns is because you want to show that you don't work in a sloppy way, right? You don't only care about the results, you also care about the way things are done. And if you show stuff that's as clean as this, when a recruiter sees this, he's like, okay, I can hire that person and he's going to fit right in. He's going to push clean assets down the pipeline, and we're not going to be creating useless bugs. So that's fantastic. He's a great example for this. Now, you don't need to show a lot of work. Very often I see portfolios with like 30 pieces of artwork. All my students exercise this since year 1 until now. No, 3 good pieces are really all you need to get a job. 3. So please, show me this, not this. Because more art doesn't mean more opportunities to get a job. More art actually means more opportunity for the recruiter to poke holes in your profile, right? Especially if some of the art is not as good as the other. You want to show something that's on a homogeneous level, because you will be judged by the quality of your worst piece. When a recruiter looks at a portfolio and one piece is not as good as the other, there's 2 things that come through his or her mind. First thing, that person doesn't have a good artistic eye. He does not see that this thing is not as good as the rest. Second thing, that person doesn't know how to edit his or her portfolio. Meaning you don't know how to cater it. You don't know how to just stick to the minimum and just show me the great stuff. So please, 2 or 3 pieces maximum. Just put all your efforts in there. It doesn't mean you have to work on 3 pieces for 5 years. It means you work a lot on your fundamentals, you do a bunch of studies, a bunch of exercise, and when you feel ready, you make those 3 portfolio pieces that kick ass, and you get that job. One thing that you really have to do is to cater your portfolio to the company you want to work for. So something I talked about a little bit in the beginning is you want to focus your efforts. If you know you really want to work in Assassin's Creed, please don't make art that looks like, I don't know, it's for Overwatch, because it's not the same thing. So if you want to work on Call of Duty, you should have a realistic soldier in your portfolio, or some animations that fit that style, or some shader examples with exposed graph networks that could fit right in there. If you want to work on Fortnite, you have to show good design sense. You have to show that you understand stylized art and color. If you want to work on God of War, maybe Assassin's Creed, you're going to show more anatomy, and maybe a stronger variety in terms of clothing, more materials, leather, cloth, fur, metal, etc. Now, pro tip for your portfolio if you're someone who makes assets, right? So like a character artist, environment, cross, vehicles, weapons. Do not work from your own concept. This is a mistake I see all the time. If your job is to make assets, you're not a concept artist. And chances are you're actually not a really good one. So go and find someone whose concepts you really like, think are great, and make that. That way you're not shooting yourself in the foot when you start out. And if you do that, make sure you credit that person when you post the work. It's a horrible thing to do. When someone takes your artwork, makes something from it, and then doesn't credit it, right? You want to make sure you give credit where it's due. So, now you got your portfolio ready, right? Kicks ass, ready to go. It's time to apply. So, it's pretty simple to apply, but I see a lot of mistakes coming back on and on and on and on. So we're going to talk about a few basic things, but if you observe those, you'll be on the right foot for success. So the first thing you need to patch your portfolio is super obvious. It's a CV. So what's a CV? A CV is a list of facts. I don't want to read overcomplicated, fancy sentences. It should be something fast. Okay? Recruiter is going to spend maybe 30 seconds on your CV, right? So make it relevant, make it simple, make it readable, and finally make it efficient. It should be really easy to go through your CV. Like 1 minute tops. So that's why a CV is not an art piece. Please, I know you're an artist, but I want to see the art in your portfolio, not in your CV. Usually, this is a very bad bet to make. Not over 1 or 2 pages. This is the upper max. And as students, maybe not over 1 page. I mean, to be honest, you don't have that much to say. You went to school, you did a few things, you're looking for a job, right? The most important stuff is in your portfolio. It's not about your dog. Please just keep it relevant. Again, I see people telling me their life story and where they went on holiday. I don't care. And also, it's not lies. I know it's super tempting, and some people do that. You know, they try to make themselves look a bit better than they are. But let me tell you one thing. You're going to get found out. And when you are, if you got hired, you're going to get fired. And you're also going to get blacklisted. Your name's going to be passed around companies, and you're never going to find a job in this industry. So please just don't do it. Our next thing is you're going to need a cover letter. So a few things about cover letters. They are a narrative piece. If your CV is a cold list of facts about you, this is the story of your application. It's not a random thing you say. Why are you applying there? So be specific. Don't send the same cover letter to every company you're going to apply, because they're going to see it, to be honest. And if you really want to get into that company, please, there must be reasons, right? So tell me about those reasons. What's so great about that company and about you that you want to go there and contribute? And lastly, cover letters are underrated. To be honest, I see cover letters with so little effort in them that I see people don't care. And if 2 people have the same level of portfolio, which totally happens once in a while, and the CV is just, you know, the cover letter can make a big difference between who gets an interview and who doesn't. So make sure you really spend the time on this. So how do you do a cover letter? I'm not going to go like through a 2-hour explanation of cover letters, but just simple stuff. 1 page long, 4 paragraph max. Just like a CV, it's short, it's easy to read. Don't spend too much time on it. Be specific. Cater it to the company you're gonna apply to. This is a really simple structure. I do read. This is where you tell me who you are, what's great about you, why you're applying here. Then you is the company. What do you know about the company that makes you want to work there? What's so cool for you there that you really want to go in? And finally, read. How can you contribute? How would you help the company in any way? And how would the company help you grow? Please, spell check. Like, when I read a letter and there's spelling mistakes in there, I'm like, if this person can't even spell check, how can I trust that person to make a complex model and send it through a pipeline? No way. It's super simple. Just have other people read your letter and just check if it's fine, you know? And please send it as a PDF. Same thing with your CV. Don't send Word files. Like lockdown format, PDF. It's simple. And finally, again, the person reading can tell if you don't care. It is super obvious. So invest in it. It will show. Now, when I talk with students and I ask them where they want to work, this is usually the answer I get. It's fine. These are really cool dreams. These are really cool companies to work out. Really, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. But you have to realize this is the place where, these are the places where you are the least susceptible to get a job. And there's a couple of reasons why. I mean, first of all, again, your work is probably not on that level yet. Secondly, for each position they open, they receive between 200 and 500 applications. Meaning they get to pick whoever's best. And you know, maybe that's you. But if they pick one person out of 500, it means you have less than 1% of chance that this is you. So, maybe not, it's good, do apply there, but you shouldn't put all your eggs in that basket because it's setting up yourself for failure. And by the way, small companies are awesome too. A couple of reasons for that. First of all, numbers are a lot more in your favor because a lot less people want to work there, a lot less people know about them. So make sure you go to events like these or networking events or whatever, and you get to meet the people who work in smaller companies. It also means that in a smaller company, you get to do stuff you couldn't do in a big company. You know? If you just got hired as a junior at Ubisoft, first of all, congratulations. But if you're doing characters, you're probably not going to be working on faces before 3 or 4 years down the line, unless you're really, really good. But if you're in a smaller company, they don't have hardcore senior super specialists like in a company like Ubisoft. So you'll actually get to make full characters on day one. That's pretty cool. So you can get a bigger global vision of the production pipeline. So these are great places to start. And finally, apply no matter what. You're going to go on those company websites and you're not going to find a job for you. Or you're not going to find a job at your level. Because most job offers are like senior, senior, senior. The truth is, don't get discouraged. This is normal. Just apply. As long as you're respectful in your application, no one's going to see it badly if you send a speculative application, even though there was nothing online asking for it. And the truth is, the normal state of thing is, you're going to send 50 applications out there, and you're going to receive 3 answers. 2 is going to be, nope, sorry, not interested. And 1 is going to be, yes, we have this unpaid internship for you. This is normal. Like, it's fine, guys. Just maybe that unpaid internship actually might be something you want to consider. But in any case, your job when you don't have a job is just to keep improving your portfolio and to keep applying, no matter how long. You're going to get there. All right, quick recap. We saw that things are going to get a little bit tough after you graduate, which is fine. Now you know that with the right mindset and discipline, you'll be able to create a killer portfolio. However much time it takes you to do it, you're going to be able to do it. It's fine. And finally, you know how to apply, actually the basics of how to apply to the companies you're interested in. So, now, with all those things in mind, it's time for you to light your inner fire and just go get that job. It's there. You can do it. And to be honest, regardless of however tough it is, making games is really awesome, and it's totally a career that's worth working for. And welcoming strong juniors in a team is a pleasure for more seasoned developers. Like you guys, you have the fire, you have this enthusiasm, and you help us keep our own fire alive. So, thank you.